Yeah. All right. So we have Jenny on our call. She has been coaching for 22 months. She is a 4-star coach. So think about that. Like rocking less than 2 years, 4-star. She's a Success Club All-Star, and she was a 2017 premier. So she definitely hit the ground running. She and I met on a bus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we met on the bus. I think I just jumped over seats. I was with Marie, and I was like, talk to me, tell me about your team, tell me about what you're doing. And she was so cool that I was like, you have to talk to my team about your challenge group. So anyway, I'm going to let you go ahead and take over.
Sure. Thanks, Kerri. Thanks for hopping on tonight, you guys. So like Kerri said, I'm Jenny. I live in Virginia now, and I was a teacher previously. And when we were wanting to get pregnant, I knew that I wanted to stay home. And so I was working and building my coaching business, of course, alongside teaching full time. And it ended up lining up perfectly that my baby was born last September, and I didn't go back to teaching in September in the fall. So now I am a full-time mom, stay-at-home mom and coach. And so that's just a little bit about me. If you if you follow, or if you're going to follow me or look at my page at all, I apologize for all the baby pictures. We went on a beach trip this weekend. So 7-month-old at our first beach trip, like I was a little obsessive. But I'm going to be sharing with you guys about how to make your challenge groups. I never know how to say this word, duplicatable, or is it duplicable? What do we want to go with? Anyway, Kerri and I had an interesting conversation on the bus because we were talking about challenge groups, and she told me about your groups and how they were, she said they were like fireworks, like rainbows, unicorns, like just amazing, amazing challenge groups that got everybody so excited. And so we were kind of like just sharing our ideas and our ways that we do things. And I used to run bigger groups with my full team. So, my coaches, and then it started to be my coaches' coaches and my coaches' coaches' coaches. And every month we would split up into 2 or 3 groups, and we would just run our challenge group. I used to do on Facebook, and now I do in the app. And then it got to a point, you guys, and as you start to grow your business, you realize that things just start getting bigger, and the ripple effect happens because you're influencing somebody, that somebody is influencing somebody else, and it just keeps getting bigger and hard to manage, hard to delegate, hard to depend on other people who you maybe thought were going to do a certain task for the challenge group, but then didn't follow through with it. So my advice to you is, from the beginning, or, from now, just save everything you do and share it to make it easily replicated by your new coaches or your future new coaches. Because when I started my team of being an Emerald with my husband and my sister, I had no working coaches, but I was starting a Google Drive folder because I knew that I was going to have coaches and a team that I wanted to share this info with. So just, save everything. I use Google Drive and pass it along. So I have a PowerPoint here in a minute, but I wanted to just tell you a little bit about how I transitioned from doing those big groups to doing some smaller groups. So in January of this year really is the first time that I knew I needed to have a better system. As I told you, I have a new baby and things are just getting kind of crazy. And so I really needed to make it streamlined and easy for myself, but then also easy for new coaches when they came on to be able to take some ownership and start up a challenge group a few months after they start coaching. So I've been doing this sort of system since January, and it has worked really well for me. And also I've seen a lot of success with my new coaches starting to just really kind of know what to do before I even have to tell them what to do, because I'm modeling it for them. And I know we probably have some teachers on this call too, because I know Kerri's a teacher. So a lot of this is that like I do, we do, you do mentality, where you just show them what to do, and that, you know, by modeling you learn. So I'll share my screen, and I'm going to share this Google Slides with you at the end so that you have it. And I'm going to show you a couple different documents that I use as well. So we're going to talk about how to create good content for challengers, train your new coaches, and get everybody results. So promoting your group. So, you know, with new coaches, they're like, okay, so I know, like, I want to start a challenge group, but like, I don't know where to start. So what I do is I just print out blank calendars. You know, you can just Google blank yearly calendar, and I just print it all out, and then I plan my month. I actually planned for 6 months, and sort of wanted to see how everything would fall. So I, you know, pick my start date. I do a prep week. Do you guys do that of any? Okay. Yeah. So I do typically a whole week, 7 days. I know so I've toyed around with 3 days or 5 days. I do a whole 7 days now. So I pick my start date, pick my prep week start date, pick my open enrollment date. I didn't used to do this. I just used to promote like, hey, I'm starting a challenge group on May 1st. Who wants to join me? Now I have a window of 7 to 10 days that is open enrollment. And I learned this on a call, on a training video. I don't even remember who did it. But when you're specific, like my enrollment is open and my enrollment closes this date, people are like, oh, okay, this is the time. I've been thinking I need to sign up. Like, this is the time for me to do it, because she's taking people right now. So that has really, really helped not only myself, but also helped my new challengers to really put some emphasis on, you know, the importance of, if people are interested, like, now's your time to join. And then, you know, of course, doing a last call. I'm not going to really go into free group that much, but what I've been doing is I've been doing like a 4-day free group, then opening my enrollment that day or the next day, then having a 10-day open enrollment, and then my prep week starts. So, so that's really helped, because it's a natural way to promote my free group, invite those free group people, and say, you know, you get first dibs on my challenge group. And so, you know, I'll just kind of show you, this is really small. So I actually pulled up my calendar that I then, you know, made up and shared with my team. So this is just April, like, for example. Our prep week of our last group started here. Our new challenge group started here. And then I posted about my free group on Thursday. My free group started last night, and then it's going to go until Wednesday or Thursday of this week. And then I put May open enrollment on Sunday. I'll probably actually open it on the 20th, because like I said, I'm going to invite my free group people and then post about it, and then have it open until, you know, the 30th or Monday, the May 1st, and then start my challenge group. And so again, that's just really helped me and just created that system for my team. So I guess my biggest point here is to just be strategic and predictable. So now, you know, my followers, they kind of start to know, like, okay, she's going to do a free group, so maybe I'll try that out. And then if I'll see how that goes, you know, if I like it and if I feel like I really could use this accountability she's been talking about, then, you know, maybe the challenge group this month is for me. Maybe this is my month. So, you know, you want to be predictable sort of for your followers and also for your team to be able to know what to do when. what time of the month. One thing I didn't put on this calendar I'll talk about that later, never mind. But I do put on the bottom, like when our next month one's going to be starting. So enrolling challengers again, and there are many different ways to do all of this, but I'm telling you guys this because this has been what's been easiest for my new coaches to grab a hold of and start like right away, is creating a form. Do you guys do an application form? Maybe some do, some don't. Okay, so I love Google Drive. On Google Drive, I create an application form, and it can be as simple or as intricate as you want it to be. It's really pretty easy, user friendly, and you just create a form. So like if you're if you're in Google Drive, it's you go to More and you go to Google Forms. And basically, it's just an application or just a questionnaire that people can fill out. So I have my form. I tell them a little bit about the group, and all this sort of sets the stage. Like, do you guys ever get people that think your groups are just like free and for fun and they don't have to pay anything to join? So doing this really helped me, and again, helps my new coaches to sort of set the precedent from the beginning. Like, hey, so this group's going to give you a lot of value. You're going to get workouts. You're going to get meal plans. You're going to get Shakeology. And so that they kind of think like, okay, I have to be like paying for this in some way. And so you sort of describe your group here. I post my little graphic here. This is the same thing I shared on my social media. When I was thinking about this call, you guys, I was actually thinking I could make like a minute-long video, and you can import videos into forms, and you could just explain in a minute what a challenge group is and what they would get out of it. So you could put a video in there. I collect their information, their first and last name, their email, Facebook, Instagram. Are they working with a coach? So a lot of times you get people who are signed up under somebody else, or they're not in their challenge group, but whatever. So that sort of gives you some insight, and you can talk further with that person about it. And this is where I want them to tell me about themselves. I want to hear their struggles or what they've enjoyed in the past about their workouts and their nutrition. You'd be really surprised what people will share with you when they don't even, know you, or maybe they feel like they know you, but you can really learn a lot from just asking simple questions like this. I talk about Shakeology and kind of off the bat see if they're interested in it, and if they're not. And if they're not, I ask them why, and we have a conversation about that. These are just really like conversation starters. I ask them their goals, what's been holding them back from reaching the goals, so kind of what their excuses and what their struggles have been, and then are you ready to go all in? And so on this form, you can see your responses. This is my copied one, so I don't have any of my responses here, but you'll be able to see who fills out your form, and then you can look up all their information. So let me go back to my PowerPoint here. So share about this from the time you open your enrollment to the time your enrollment closes. Again, 7 to 10 days is what I do. I put that link in my Instagram bio, and I put it at the end of my posts at least once a day during my open enrollment. You could put it at the end of every post you make. If you're making 3 posts a day, it might be a little bit overkill. I think if you're, talking about it once daily for a week, then it's not overkill. And as you guys know, people don't see every single post you make. They really don't, especially, on Facebook. what I've been doing a lot recently is talking about my groups in my Instagram stories too. And I have gotten so much response from that, just explaining to that. Again, it's another chance for you to, use your video, use your voice to explain what a challenge group is. And then I say, if you're interested, fill out the link in my bio. So, what I do is you could use the link from Google Forms. It's, what is it on? Forget. Oh, if you go to send, your link is right here, but it's like crazy long. So I use tinyURL, and you can create like your unique URL for that. And so I put that crazy Google link with all the letters and numbers into tinyurl.com, and then you can create a unique link. And all of this just makes you seem like a little bit more official than you probably actually are, because like I said, I'm just a, former teacher, now stay-at-home mom and coach. I don't have like fancy, software or anything like that. But yeah, I'll send you guys the link for all of this. So when you click on this, that's not actually what comes up. When you click on this, what comes up is what the people see to be able to fill out. So like I could fill this out right now and then submit it. And then you want to make sure, one thing I want to tell you guys is kind of like nitty gritty, but if you're going to do this, make sure you get email notifications for new responses, because then, you'll get an email saying somebody filled out your form. And then you have immediately somebody to follow up with. And you guys, what I've noticed is people, some mostly, are more likely to fill out like a form like this than they are to comment below if you want to join my group. Because sometimes people don't want to leave a comment. They don't want other people to know that they're interested in joining this, because it can be embarrassing, or they're not quite sure about it. So if they, in the privacy and comfort of their own laptop or phone, can fill this out and tell you about themselves and sort of open their heart and tell you their struggles, then you already are connected to them and you have all their information. What you can, the problems they have, and the solutions that you have to help them. So again, it just helps it seem a little bit more streamlined. And you want, if they're really serious about joining your group, and if they're going to go all in with this, then you want them to take the time to fill this form out and tell you about themselves. Because if they won't take 5 minutes to fill out a form, then they're not going to be a really active participant in your group, and maybe they're not ready for the group yet. So I've had people fill out my forms like a couple months over the course of 6 months or a year, and then they finally join. Maybe they feel like they weren't ready. So anyway, this is just a really easy way for new coaches to show a little bit of credibility, and help them explain what a challenge group is. So my new coaches, I tell them, literally, how do you do it? That's not how. I tell them to go up here, hit the 3 buttons, make a copy, drag your copy into your own Google Drive, and edit. And so my new coaches have a form already that they can use when they're promoting their challenge group. And, they change their information and all of that. Maybe they put some different graphics that they want, whatever. But they can use this form and make a copy. So it's just a good way for them to get started. And again, share about it over and over again. This is my Instagram bio. And so I always have a link here, because, if somebody is starting to follow you, or if they see your post and they want to check out your page, you want to have something, I have my email, but you want to have something that they can click on, that they know that they can join. I'm doing a free group this week, so I have my free link in there for that group. It's another super simple form. My free group forms, if you go to that and click on it, are not as like in depth. I basically just collect their information and make sure we're Facebook friends. And then sprinkle that link into every post. You know, on Instagram, you can't do a clickable link in your posts, but I tell them, you know, just a reminder. This was like a workout picture. And I, you know, said, just a reminder that enrollment is open for my Spring Shape Up accountability group that starts April 3rd. The clickable link is in my bio for more info. And so, of course, they can't click on it here, but it's sort of just like maybe would draw their eye. And on Facebook, of course, you can click on it. This was just another one, you know, it was a video, I think, that I had done where it was just like my workout check-in post for the day, but I tagged that on at the end. So again, every day that your enrollment is open, you know, from the time you announce your group to the time you actually get started with your group. So keep sharing about it. Don't think that you can, I used to share about challenge groups once or twice before they started, and I wondered why I was having trouble hitting Success Club. It's because I shared about it once or twice. So you have to keep letting people know that there is something available for them to join. Okay, so creating content. Something that I've found that's the easiest way for me to duplicate my challenge groups to my larger team is to create a posting schedule. And what we've we change this up all the time, but we've kind of landed on this template of a posting schedule that we like, that gets our challengers really good results, and then we edit it, you know, some days, depending on the month, the season, the holidays. And, you know, in the app, as you guys know, if you do your groups in the app, you can schedule out those posts in the app. So my posting schedule here, you know, I put on here, please post your, you know, schedule your posts for 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And so again, as a new coach, they know exactly what to do. It's very specific. I used to share the duties when we did those big groups, share the duties of posting, and now I do all the posting for my own group. And part of the reason for that is because, you know, for me, I was getting to the point where I had challengers signing up to be in a group with me. They wanted me to be their coach. And I was working with 6 other coaches to host this challenge group, and I was posting once a week. And so my challengers weren't necessarily seeing me as the coach. Yeah, I was checking in and logging my workouts in my Shakeology, but I wasn't the one feeding them the information. My other coaches were, which was great that we're all working together. But again, your people signed up with you for a reason, because they trust you and they want to learn from you. So that's kind of why I ended up starting to have me be the sole poster in the group. And so, yeah, I just created this, you know, based on what I wanted to share with them. I have my prep week and then my, you know, my posts, my daily posts for my challenge group. And all of this every month in my team Google Drive, I have my challenge group folder, and then I have my monthly group folder. So my coaches can go in there and they can, I don't of course have them use like this to promote their group or anything like that. But if they want to go in and if they want to use this graphic in their My Challenge Tracker portal and use that as the graphic, they can do that. If they want to make a copy of my form and use my form, they can do that. If they want to use my welcome email, in the Challenge Tracker app, there is a place where you can edit you guys probably know this, where you can edit the welcome email that the people get. And so So I have that here as well. So every single month, I move these documents into my challenge group folder so that if I have a coach that wants to run their own group, this is what they can use. They, of course, don't have to use all this stuff, but it's so much easier to not reinvent the wheel if they are wanting to get their feet wet starting their group, to use the resources that are already here. So this, I think, is what's been most successful, is making sure the coaches know how to use the Google Drive, giving them, of course, access to it, reminding them of it all the time, sharing a new resource when I create a new resource with them, and, just giving them the tools that they need to run these challenge groups, and to easily set them up on their own. So, for me and my team, and my upline is the same way. Kerri knows that Ashley Smith is my upline coach, and above her is Micah Folsom. They're both, top coaches in Beachbody, and they over and over again will tell you that they keep it simple. They keep it basic, because it's easy to duplicate. And that's how your team grows successfully, is when you're easily duplicated. So as a brand new challenge, when I think about my posting schedule as a brand new challenger, what 5 or 7 topics do they need information or support with? And I repeat those themes every single week. Again, I'm being predictable and easily duplicated. I use a lot of the resources that are already there. Beachbody blog, Fixate, On Demand. Autumn's YouTube is really good. Beachbody's YouTube is good, and 21dayfixhub.com. So again, I'm not really reinventing the wheel on most of this stuff. For me, weekly topics, and you guys probably have, similar things like this too, or, have heard of them, but in my challenge group, my posting schedule, this is typically what it follows, and so for Mindset Monday, I'll have a mindset challenge for them that they have to do. Or Tuesday, we'll talk about transformations, mostly, internal or emotional changes, NSVs, non-scale victories. What have you been able to do this week that you weren't able to do 2 weeks ago? That's a non-scale victory, something that doesn't have to do with the scale. Wednesday, we take pictures of our food and make a collage and post it at the end of the night. Thursday is with water or Shakeology, adding value to Shakeology as much as you can. Saturday, we do Saturday, where we take our progress pictures and our measurements, and then meal prep Sunday. So again, not only do my coaches know sort of a good template to use for their own challenge groups, but then my challengers start to just follow suit with this. After about 3 weeks of being in the group, like they kind of know like what it means to coach without actually knowing that they've been learning how to coach this whole time. Because on my social media, I share a lot of these things. I share about food every Wednesday. I share about water or Shakeology every Thursday. Transformation Tuesday, either show a transformation of me or a challenger. And so again, you're just kind of like teaching them how to coach. And so they kind of already get it. Repetition and consistency equals results. So what else do I want to say about that? My posting schedule pretty much follows that. Oh, I did want to say that I told you guys that I pretty much use that same posting schedule every month. And so what that means then is anybody that graduates from my month-long challenge group, I move them into a fit club. And so the fit club is the ongoing maintaining challenge group. So they don't see those same posts every month because they're in my ongoing challenge group. This is for like my new challengers. Again, I model for my challengers that then become coaches. I talk with them on the side at least once a week, check in with them. we do some leaderboards on who checked in with their Shakeology and their workouts throughout the week. I give them a meal plan Google Drive folder. Again, easy to duplicate for new coaches. They don't have to make up meal plans. They can use the ones we already have in the Google Drive we already have. So this is the system I've been using for the past couple of months. I train my new coaches to be in my group for 1 to 3 months as an apprentice coach. And they decide when they're ready to start their own challenge group. So most of my new coaches were challengers. So they've been in my challenge group for at least 1 month, probably. And then they can join in my challenge group for another month. They can invite their own challengers to the group. Again, I'm going to be the one posting, but they help me, come up with some different posts for holidays, themes, seasons. They help me like and comment on everybody's stuff. And if they have their own challengers, they support them. Then month 2, I ask them, you want to be in my group again? Or are you thinking that you want to run your own? I remind them of the folder with the resources. They have everything they need to do. They decide. And if they want to, after month 3, they should know really what to do. It's all there for them. And most of them want to run their own group because they want to be the poster. They want to be the one sharing the information for their challengers. So it's motivation to, learn and be an apprentice and, get that modeling, but then kind of move off on your own. So after you do it together, like I said before, that I do, we do, you do. I put all my coaches in a message thread, my new coaches. And so eventually they, want to partner up and they want to do a challenge group together. And if someone ever falls off track and they don't have challengers, then I bring them back in with me. So, you guys, that was a lot, and I'm getting a notification that we are almost done. But I will share that PowerPoint with you guys, and it has some of those links in there.
You were so amazing. Thank you. I am so excited to implement everything. Can we give her some love, guys? Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. If you guys want to get back on, I'm going to get back on for a couple minutes and talk to anyone who jumps on.
Do you guys have questions? Should I get back on?
Yeah, dude. That's okay.
I'm happy to answer any questions because I know I was talking like a mile a minute.
Okay, we'll stop the recording.